So if you're happy, showing them that you're happy, and then the way you're acting and what you do really does influence you. So yeah, I keep saying that every month. Every time I finish the month, I'm happy, but I'm just like not satisfied. And I just want to share with you guys that concept because some people are the opposite. They're unhappy, but they're satisfied. Meaning that they're always complaining, it's not fair, or the government, or whatever. It's just like complaining about things, but then the way they're acting is completely satisfied. They're not working hard, or they're not learning, or they're just partying. It's like as if they have $1 million in the bank. It's like, well, you're acting like you're satisfied, but you're unhappy. So me, I go the opposite way where I'm happy, I'm very grateful. Kids are healthy, I'm healthy, parents are healthy. Nothing to complain about, really. I mean, great team here, great business. I feel like I live in a free country. There's a lot of good things to be grateful for, but at the same time, it's just weird. I'm glad I have both, because if I was too motivated and unsatisfied, it kind of makes me into an unhappy person or like stressed out person. So I don't want to go that direction too much too. So it's important to balance both out. But that's kind of what I want to share with you guys is the concept of being happy, but also unsatisfied at the same time. Yeah, today I just want to share with you guys, what is going to keep us motivated. Anybody want to add some things that you guys could share with us about, any tips or things that might help you guys stay motivated?
Setting goals.
Setting goals.
I always have unrealistic goals, to be honest, but it's like at least I get closer to them,
Yeah, that's really good, Blanca, to have big goals like that. I think one of the things about unrealistic goals is that it kind of makes you use your imagination, and it kind of makes you more excited about it. Because if you have realistic goals, which are important too, sometimes you're like, oh, if I get that, that'd be nice, but it's not worth going all out for. So if you're like, oh, if I hit that number, then that'd be really awesome. So you need goals to get excited about. So Blanca, that's a really good one. But I want to just share with you guys, okay, how important staying motivated is. Everything's fine. I could say everything is fine. We don't have to move. I could just be here and have this team here, and still, everybody could still make more money, and we could still, I don't need another car, or like I don't need like anything, like I don't really need anything really. I feel like I have a schedule, I'm able to work out, I have a good balance, and then I just don't need to, like, why would I go through all the stress of, basically trying to double the size of our agency, stretching my rent up to $20,000 per month. And then, thinking about all the training I have to go through and all the hiring I have to go through and then all the leads I have to buy and like all this, like, it's kind of like stressful if I think about it. Like, why would I put myself through this when everything is just fine? Like, it's just kind of like seems like maybe risky to me. But to me, I feel like being motivated is so important because you just need another thing to chase for. And I think when you have that, it just keeps you more excited about the future. Honestly, I think it keeps you young because you're just always excited about what's going to happen. And I've had people, friends that made money through real estate or something like that when they don't have anything to do or they don't have the next goal. Even with money, they're just not as fulfilled and not as happy, or frankly, they don't look as good because they're just not as motivated and they're just not excited about what's to come. So staying motivated is really just a blessing in life. It just keeps you just happy, it keeps you young, it keeps you, waking up and then optimistic, and then it gives you a purpose. And I think we all need that. It's all part of being happy, okay? So just want to share with you guys some of the things that helps me stay motivated. And just want to maybe ask you guys, the motivation, what helps you guys keep motivated? And I think one of the important things about motivation that it changes all the time. And it's okay for it to change all the time. For example, like I was really motivated because my mom used to buy me Jordans all the time. And I went to college, she was like, I'm not buying any more Jordans. You finished high school basketball, that was for basketball, you needed it, and I helped you, but I don't have to buy top of the line Jordans anymore. So I was like, oh crap, what am I gonna do? So I got a job at a shoe store selling sneakers. Okay. Then it was like, okay, well, I kind of figured to get girls, I have to have some type of money. Okay, so it was about that, and then there was a time where I just really needed to get that G35. It was like I had to get that car. These are different motivations that I had throughout my life. Anybody could share any past motivations you had?
For me to get my first car.
There you go. you need one sense of freedom, right? So it's really important for us to understand, to be able to kind of look into what's going to keep us motivated. It's almost like a research on yourself. Like you really have to figure out what's going to motivate you because you need that. You just can't be coming up to work and being like, oh, nothing's going to change. This is how it is. You kind of need something. So to be able to find your motivation, you really have to really understand yourselves. Anybody else have like maybe current or previous motivation? Like what's a current motivation you guys may have?
I'm gonna get a house.
Yeah,
There you go.
So that's my motivation.
There you go. Yeah, just like Blanca said, you need a big goal. That's a big one because if you have that goal, then you're gonna act accordingly. Yeah, that requires you to save, that requires you to make more money, this requires you to get your license, discipline, just everything, responsibility. And so those are great goals to have, and that's a big one that a lot of people should have. And it's a challenging one, but we have people here who have done it, and it's just something that I really strongly encourage for everybody to have as a goal. It's so important to be aware of that because honestly, I feel like a lot of people out there, they don't even know what motivates them. They're just going through the motion. They're just like, okay, I'm just gonna go to work because that's what I'm supposed to do. But there's nothing really inside of them that's driving them. And maybe there is, but they don't even realize it or recognize it or address it. And they're not giving it their best, and they're not reaching their full potential because they don't know. So I want you guys to know, at least ask yourself, like, what's gonna motivate me? And no one's gonna judge you off that, and it could change anyways. Like mine were stupid stuff before. Like I wanted this award from farmers, like, it doesn't really change anything, but at least I got it, and then I'm like, okay, now what's next? So whatever you guys' situation is at life right now, figure out what motivates you. And I'm just gonna share with you guys what's motivating me right now. And is to be able to tell my kids, okay, you can be whatever you wanna be. You can be whatever you wanna be, buddy, is what I wanna tell them. I don't know how you guys will say it. If you guys have, I don't know if you guys have girls, but if you guys say, you could be whatever you want to be, sweetheart. But I'm not able to say that if they're looking back at me and they're thinking, well, how come you aren't then? I don't want them to be like, well, why are you not reaching your full potential? How come you're not going after it? Like you say, if I work hard, have a good attitude, I could do whatever I want. I don't want them to be looking at me like, well, you're not really doing anything. You're not really going after it. And that would be a terrible feeling for me. Like, I feel like when we go to like recitals or they're singing or they're playing sports games and I'm watching the kids, have you guys ever noticed that you're only watching yours only?
Yeah.
None of the kids, like, they're like invisible to you. And it's crazy if you think about it, the kids watch us the same way. All these people in the whole world, and then they only care about what you're doing. And a lot of times, what we teach them, it's not what's taught, it's what's caught. And they're looking at us, and then they're figuring us out. And there's gonna reach a certain age point. Usually in adulthood, you figure out who your parents really are, really understand them. Oh, they're like that. Okay, that's what they were. They were winners. They really cared about me. All these things, it's gonna finally make sense to them. I feel like it's my obligation, and I honestly feel like if I'm not doing that, it's a form of like a neglect. I know neglect is a very strong word. I looked it up. It's fail to care for properly, state of being or being uncared for. I would feel like I would be neglecting my kids if I didn't teach them this lesson or I didn't show them this lesson. Like I honestly feel like, and this is something as all parents, we should tell our kids that, hey, you can do whatever you want. But if you're not telling them that, that's bad. But if you're not showing them that, that's also bad too. So I want to do my part as a parent, and that's my motivation, is to be able to say that to them. Is that you can really do whatever you want, okay? And then the crazy part where I really conflicted with this, I just hear, or like, some people say that if you work a lot, then you're actually not being a good parent. Or if we spend a lot of time in the gym, like, okay, well, I'm taking away from my kids. But I just figured like, hey, just from true trial and error, that if I'm just doing really well at work, if I'm getting leads, I come up with this marketing campaign and I spend hours like writing out the script and making the video, and it's hitting. It's really doing well, and we're selling. Or if I'm training somebody and they're new and then they're getting it and then they're doing better. Like if the business is going well and I'm absolutely killing it financially, I honestly feel like it makes me a better parent. Because it just puts me in a higher spirit. Even with gym too, if I'm like eating healthy and if I'm doing well, like, exercising and stuff like that, it just makes me into a better parent because my energy level is different. And maybe it's because the extent of how much I love myself is increasing, so I have more capacity to give out the love to my kids. So I just want you guys to understand that, people say, hey, if you're working too much, you're neglecting your kids. I think it's the opposite. If you're chasing your dreams and going after it, you're teaching them the best thing to teach them. And in a way, you're showing them how to take care of yourself, how to be happy, and by, going after it and being really good at your job. Because I can't sit here and say, hey, you can be whatever you want to be, and then they're looking back at me and say, hey, you're not even good at your own job. So I don't want to be at that situation. So I really want to kind of walk the talk, if you could say. So yeah, it's all about the kids for me right now, and for you guys, my motivation level. And then maybe if some of you guys are like, well, what if I don't have kids, right? I think it also goes the same way where you could learn a lot from your kids, right? So can your parents. So can your family. I don't care, your uncle. Your nieces, your nephews, if you're just winning in life, I think sometimes with families, there's just different situations you could be in that maybe your family didn't have a history of having somebody that is a true winner. And I think if you show them, and because your parents, they really want you just to be happy. So if you're happy, showing them that you're happy, and then the way you're acting and what you do really does influence families. And then a lot of times you just need that one person in the family, because if there's a successful family, there's a lot of times if you look back at their ancestors, there's a lot of times they weren't successful. And one person came along and changed the whole family around. Usually it's really successful families like that. And then from that person on, it just became a better trajectory for their whole lineage. Okay, so we still have the opportunity to do that. Okay, I would say most of our parents came from somewhere, took a chance to come to this country. I mean, what were the reasons they came here? Better future, right? They made a sacrifice, I'll feel really uncomfortable if I had to go to China and just didn't know the language and I had to start out all over again. And it'd be really challenging. The sacrifices they went through, it's like our obligation to take advantage of it. And it's a little unfortunate when they have this opportunity to be in this country, this opportunity, they don't take advantage of it or actually even shit on the opportunity. It's kind of unfortunate, but eventually there's going to be someone that stands out in that family, I believe, as long as they're, someone's going to stand out. Okay, so it could be in many different ways. If you're taking care of your health, if you're really healthy, that's going to rub off to your parents too. That's going to rub off to your family, that's going to rub off to your siblings. So even if you don't have kids, you can still do whatever you can to let them know that, hey, I'm working hard, I have the right attitude, taking care of my health, and then that's going to rub off to other people. And that's just a great way I feel that we could do to honor our parents. I don't know, just family is a big thing for me right now, is because I'm trying to figure out what's going to motivate me right now. Maybe it's my kids' age, maybe it's my parents' age as they get older, but I just want them to be proud. I just want them to be happy. And I've been through all these different motivational levels, all the way through different levels, different things, but I could just share with you guys right now that this one that I'm on right now, for family's future, there's no motivation stronger than that for me right now. So I hope you guys could relate to that, because I know many of us are very family oriented, and I just want you guys to take it to the next level and figure out what motivates you. Everyone's different, but search amongst yourself. Hey, I want to be healthy for my family. I want to be able to take care of my kids. I want to be able to see my grandkids, think long term, and show them that you're not a mediocre person. You're not working at a mediocre place. We're all here to win, and I think there's nothing better we could do for our families than that. All right? All right, thank you guys.